Real YouTubers talk about horses. This horses doesn't have moves. Well, it has some moves, but it doesn't have enough moves. Hello, it's me, Guy. Just think about it. And today we're talking about Spectrier. So, obviously, Generation 8, Crown Tundra DLC introduced a couple new legendary Pokemon, Regieleki, Regidrago, 2 horses, Calyrex, the Galarian versions of birds, and then all the old legendaries as well. Now, Spectrier is one of the new Pokemon introduced, and at first glance, it actually appears to be the weakest of the new Pokemon introduced. However, I'm not so sure if it actually is, or if it's just I'm not sure if it's actually the weakest, or if it's just people haven't figured out how to use it yet. But regardless, it's definitely a Pokemon that people are not really using at the moment. Which is interesting. I do think this Pokemon has some potential, and I think it'll be really good when Calyrex is legal. Why does it have no ankles? I think it'll be really good when Calyrex is legal because the fusion is really good. But right now it's in a kind of an awkward spot. So it's a pure Ghost in terms of typing. Ghost is a great typing. It's really good offensively. It's only resisted by Dark and Normal as far as I can recall. Which makes it very, very it hits a lot of things for neutral damage, and hitting Psychic for super effective is good. Hitting Ghost for super effective is good. So it's just it's a really great offensive type. Additionally, Grimnay giving a boost whenever you knock out a Pokemon is really strong. So overall, typing and ability are really good. This Pokemon's in a weird spot because as usual, after we look at the typing, after we look at the ability, the next thing we're going to do is look at the stats. It's really fast. It's as fast as Tapu Koko, which for a majority of VGC, a majority of Generation 7 was the major benchmark, right? It was Tapu Koko and Mega Gengar at 130, and although there were a couple Pokemon faster, such as Pheromosa, 130 was a really good base speed. So this will outspeed a lot of the metagame. It won't outspeed Tapu Koko, but it'll outspeed it'll outspeed Tapu Koko, and it won't outspeed Regieleki, but it'll outspeed the majority of Pokemon in the format. Additionally, it's got a really good base special attack stat. 145 is no joke at all. It hits almost 200 special attack stat with a timid nature, so that's really strong. It's actually got a good base HP stat as well, so it's not a phenomenal base HP stat by any. This is a really good base HP stat. It's not the best in the game, but it's really good. Base 100 is nothing to scoff at. And the defenses are not great. The special defense isn't terrible though, considering that the HP is pretty high. This is a Pokemon that to most neutral hits should not OHKO. Even max moves, it can probably survive a good chunk of them. And if you pair it with Intimidate to bolster its defense, it should be getting 2 KO by a lot of Pokemon, in my opinion. So you might be wondering why is this thing not good, right? Or why is this thing not really? It's the least used. It's probably if I ask people to say which is the worst legendary Pokemon introduced in the Crown Tundra, new legendary Pokemon, not old Articuno or whatever, people would probably say Spectrier at the current moment before we've played too much. And that might seem weird because everything we've talked about so far and kind of our first impressions are all really good. It's got really good stats, it's got a good typing, and it's got a good ability. We didn't even talk about the ability, but the ability is really good. It's just Beast Boost for special attack. So this is actually even better than Beast Boost because normally you'd get a Speed Boost if if it was an Ultra Beast and a Beast Boost. But now you always get a special attacks boost, which lets you snowball. So good typing, good ability, and good stats. Why is this Pokemon not doing well? Well, the issue is that the move pool is very limited. If we look at the moves, Shadow Ball is going to be your primary Ghost Stab most of the time. But then we have to look a little further, right? We see Nasty Plot is a good support move, but you can already see just in the level up moves, there's no coverage. There's no coverage at all. And the only special move it gets is Shadow Ball and Hex. Special moves it gets is Shadow Ball and Hex. And then if you start to look at the TMs, Snore, Hyper Beam, Will-O-Wisp is good, but still no coverage. Swift, Mudshot, Bulldoze, Snarl, Stomping Tantrum. You can see the special moves here are Round, Hex, Snarl, Mudshot, Swift, Snore, and Hyper Beam. So again, no coverage. And then if we go down here, Taunt, Dark Pulse, there's a coverage move, and that's it. Those are the coverage moves. So you can run Ghost and Dark coverage on this thing, and that's it. You can't run any other coverage on it at all, pretty much, unless you want to run Max Ground Mudshot. So we talked about Regieleki and Regidrago, and we talked about how those Pokemon lack coverage moves, but it's okay because their stab moves are so incredibly powerful that you don't really need the coverage moves in the first place because of their abilities. Because their abilities make their stab moves even, like, instead of a 1.5 times boost, a 2.25 times boost, you're better off clicking your stab move most of the time anyway. It's not the case for it's not the case for Spectrier, who, although it has a really good ability, it's not like the ability is making the ghost move so much more powerful that like you should be running them over everything else. That being said, I do think this Pokemon has potential. Like, I think you're running Shadow Wall, Protect, and then 2 more. Like Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, 2 of those. Dark Pulse, 2 of those moves. Yeah. I think I think it can work. It's just like it's very awkward, right? Although on the plus side, this Pokemon has good stats and like it does have a good, like, it has a lot going for it. So I don't think it's like doomed or anything. I want to go to Picolytics. If we look at the usage stats, like Ghost hits neutral, not very effective, super effective, neutral, not very effective. Dark hits super effective, neutral, super effective, super effective, super effective, super effective. Neutral. So like this is like roughly the top 20 Pokemon. And the only ones that can't hit for like neutral is Incineroar and Moltres. So like I do think that this Pokemon can be good. Like if we want to look at the damage calc, like I haven't run calcs with this thing. It's really just in an awkward spot. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just really awkward right now. But if we were to like do this and then say Shadow Ball versus Tapu Fini. Oh my god, tell me that's Dynamaxed. Oh my god, it does nothing. Okay, the stats are good, but there's no justifying that. You need to be +2 max. Okay, if you Dynamax Life Orb max, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think it's doomed. Honestly, I don't think it's doomed. Like, if you get a, okay, let's just bear with me for a second. I know we're reaching here. If you get a Nasty Plot up with this thing, it should OHKO like everything, right? Like, I don't think there's any Pokemon that can take, any unresisted Pokemon that takes +2 Max Ghost, except for Fini, or Max Darkness. So I don't think it's doomed, right? I think that on the right team, in the right scenario, like, you could absolutely use this thing, and have it be good, but you can see why it's difficult, right? Because, like, it's not like, oh, I'll just run a coverage move to beat these Pokemon. It's like, well, it doesn't get coverage moves. And the Ghost and Dark are bad coverage, because, like, the things that Ghost, like, Dark resists both of them, right? So, like, yeah, Ghost only has 2 resistances in Normal and Dark, and, like, Normal's not that common right now. Like, how far down do we have to go to find the first Normal-type Pokemon? Indeedee, but that's a dual type. Let's see, what, like, is there anything other than Indeedee that's, like, actually relevant? Like, you can see there is no Normal type, right? I'm not seeing a Normal type. I have, other than Indeedee, I haven't found a Normal type in, there, Porygon 2 at 2.7% usage, and Regigigas right below that. So, like, Normal type's not a thing right now, basically, aside from Indeedee. So, like, you don't really need, like, Ghost is already hitting everything for neutral. It's just a question of, like, Dark types. So, adding in Dark coverage as your only coverage doesn't really help. You're effectively playing mono coverage Pokemon here. Which is fine, again, like, in certain situations. And, like, Ghost, if you're gonna have any type for mono coverage, Ghost is one of the better ones. But it's still not great, right? Like, you'd prefer some coverage moves here. So, yeah. I don't know. I really don't think it's doomed. I do think it has some potential, but it's going to be tricky to use. I wouldn't be surprised if a Nasty Plot set took off because, like, it's really fast, right? Like, it's really, really fast, and, yeah, like, the fact that it's so fast, and the fact that it's Nasty Plot, and the fact that it's, like, got Shadow Ball, it means, like, if you can keep speed control at, like, a neutral, like, plus, like, you have Tailwind, they have Tailwind, or, like, whatever, I do think that this thing can work, because at +2 it does so much damage, especially if you want to Dynamax it, and because it is a good enough natural bulk that, like, like, it can probably take a hit, like, it can take a big hit while Dynamaxed for sure, because, yeah, the natural bulk is good enough. I do think that it has, like, I think it can be used for sure, and also, like, there's some nice things about being, like, a strong Ghost-type attacker, such as, like, Dusclops, for example, is, like, a Pokemon that's pretty big right now, and is paired with Glastrier to help set Trick Room up, and it's also probably the main Trick Room setter right now, as far as I can tell, and, like, being able to hit that thing pretty hard is good. I don't think you one-shot it, but we can check. Yeah, you don't one-shot it, at all. But yeah, even you could still do some. Oh, that's max. Like you do big damage to this thing, right? Minimum 67, upwards of like 80%, given they have like some special defense investment. Yeah, like yeah, like you do such big damage to Dusclops. If you were to give this a life orb as well, you can probably one shot physically bulky. Yeah, we one shot physically bulky Dusclops. So yeah. So overall, like it has some things going for it. It's just awkward, right? I'm not saying it's bad. It's literally just awkward. Just like me. But yeah, like it's usable. If this is your favorite Pokemon, you can totally use this. I do have faith in it, but I don't know exactly the best way to use it. So I mean, the default set's going to be something like this, right? Like it's going to be either Life Orb or Focus Sash. You're going to Protect, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, and maybe Dark Pulse. I honestly kind of feel like you don't need Dark Pulse, but this lets you hit in DD, so maybe you do actually. So yeah, maybe like this is like a fine set, right? I think alternatively something you could do is have it be like a bit more like support-ish. Focus Sash with Protect, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Ball. I think this is a totally fine set anyway. You get 2 good support moves, and like now you can actually be annoying versus a lot of the common Pokemon, right? Like you can burn Landorus, you're already hitting Metagross for good damage, but that's fine. You can burn Glastrier, you can burn Cortana, you can burn Zapdos, you can Shadow Ball Cortana as well. Glastrier doesn't have the best special defense. Like you have something to do a lot of the time with this set. And Focus Sash is pretty good on it as well because it allows you to like deal with like Dragapult or like not worry as much about speed control. So I think this thing could totally work as well. In terms of other sets, truthfully, I'm not going to give you more because I don't really know what I would do with this thing beyond those two. Yeah, because it doesn't have the moves, right? So I'm kind of limited in terms of what I can do. Maybe people will suggest Calm Mind over Nasty Plot. I think Nasty Plot is better. You're not really that worried about bulk. Like normally, it's honestly okay. Here you want a fun one. This one's not good, but you can do it. You can run a Assault Vest here, and then use like Snarl, Bulldoze, Shadow Ball, and then one more. Sorry. Does anyone else have PTSD for the sound? I have PTSD for that sound. Other moves. Honestly, like, Phantom Force isn't the worst thing. Scary Face is a good support move as well. I kind of missed that on my first take, but Scary Face can be good. Although, wait, does it miss? 100% accurate. But it only hits one thing. Not really any, even, like, with Assault, like, this is why you don't really want to run Assault Vest, is like, oh, Foul Play. Okay, there we go. Foul Play. Okay. You can do something like this, and just say, like, alright, well, it's not going to be good, but it's, like, kind of bulky, and has, like, it's really, actually, you know what, this isn't terrible, like, yeah, like, I mean, it's fast, and it's, like, really specially bulky between Snarl, the speed, and then Bulldoze, or, and Assault Vest, so, yeah, I mean, this is actually not a terrible set. Probably make this thing bulky in some way, but yeah, like, I don't think this is great, but, like, yeah, this is pretty good against Assault Vest Landorus, for example, because Foul Play does a lot of damage to Landorus. I'm just curious to see how much this does. Excuse me. Yeah, like, I mean, it's not 2K on or anything, but 43%. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Oh, was it too small? People are probably gonna complain. I'm sorry, I forgot to zoom in. There you go, now you can see. Here you go. But yeah, that's Spectrier. Again, not a bad Pokemon, but it just, I don't know the best way to use this thing just yet, so we'll figure it out. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.